All right, so Assalamualaikum and a very to those who have joined us through Zoom and also through FB Live. Now, our topic for tonight's career talk will be accounting industry with our special guest, Mr. Nik Shahrizal Sulaiman from batch SPM MRS and Typing 1994. Now, currently, Nick is a partner at PwC, one of the big four accounting firms worldwide. So before I give the screen to Nick, I would like to say that tonight will be a bit different compared to our previous sessions, where the questions that you would like to ask can be put not only inside the chat box through Zoom, if you're watching through Zoom, and if you're watching through FB, not only through the comment section, but you can also switch on your mic and you can ask directly your questions. So with that in mind, you can assume that our talk for tonight, coming from the guest speaker, will be very short and mostly filled with interactive sessions of questions and answers. So without further ado, Nick.
Thank you very much, Iman, for the kind introduction. So, Assalamualaikum semua, apa khabar? So, I heard that some of you or all of you just completed your accounting punya exam tadi. So, I'm sure you all did very well. A quick introduction. Iman has mentioned my name and where I worked. Maybe just a brief history about what I did after I finished SPM. So lepas saya habis SPM, I did my A-levels dekat College Unitec dekat Kelana Jaya. I did accelerated A-level. And then after that, Mara sent me to Lancaster University. I did accounting and finance. After that, I got a job dekat KPMG London, where I worked in the financial services sector punya audit. So I audited banks and asset management companies. Stayed there for 5 years. Lepas tu, I decided that I wanted to specialize a bit further in the area of risk and compliance. So I joined an investment bank called Morgan Stanley, also in London. I worked there for about 3 years. And then lepas tu, after 8 years working dekat London, 2007, I decided to return to Malaysia. I joined PwC Malaysia. And that's where I have been until now. So 2007 sampai sekarang dah dekat 13-14 tahun. So I'm now a partner in PwC, specializing in this area called risk assurance. It's basically advisory lah. We can talk about it a bit later. So my responsibility is a mixture of audit and advisory. So basically what Iman told me how this program was done last time, meaning that the speaker then tunjuk slide, give a talk for half an hour, 45 minutes and ask questions. And then I asked her, do we really need to do that? Because, you guys had like 2 years of teaching and lectures and looking at slides. I don't want to repeat that. This is not a lecture. Because the way that I think about it, I'm trying to put myself back at your situation. When I was much younger, lepas habis SPM, I applied to do accountancy. The reason, I had no idea what accountancy was all about. Tak tahu, banyak ikut member je sebenarnya. You asked me at that time what accountancy was. In my mind, I had a picture of a person duduk kat sebelah cash machine, tulis buku. I thought that was what accountant was, to be honest. And can you imagine that, 17-year-old, you're asked to make a decision about your life, not knowing about everything? I mean, of course, at that time, we don't have the internet. We don't have, I asked around all my schoolmate, Muda, my dorm mate, accountancy to buat apa. Nobody had a clue, So that was how the world was at that time. But now, we have internet, we have communication. I've had the benefit of being, done all the journey, all the mistakes, all the professional experience. So I'm hoping what I plan to do tonight is to serve you, to answer your question. So what I want to say is not important. So that's why I don't prepare any slides. What's most important is what you want to know. So therefore, my job is to answer your question. any question that you have, anything about the accountancy, what's the experience like, anything. And also number two, I was telling Iman earlier, this is also to prepare you for the change of your life. One thing that I realized bila I completed my MRSM days, masuk university and then kerja, the gap between life in the academic institution and outside in the working life is very, very different. In the academic institution, you are given a syllabus, somebody kind enough to spend time teaching you, tell you this is how it works, and then you sit down, you remember, you process, and then somebody tests your exam, and then you tulis. In the working life, tak ada, your boss will say, I need that done, and nobody tells you anything, right? You have to figure out what to do. So if you don't ask questions, you will not get anything done. So I've done so many interesting work during my life. I have to say that I've been very privileged. It's not because I'm so great kappa. I've been in the right place, right time. I joined the right firm. People gave me a lot of opportunities. I've been involved in a wide range of work, daripada audit, from strategic advisory to capital adequacy to investigation to internal audit, finance function dan sebagainya. So it's been such a fulfilling experience for me. I mean, of course, if somebody asks me, is this for everyone? The answer is no. But it will be some of you who has, who will enjoy it. So again, my job is to answer any questions that you have. So basically, that's my whole presentation. Tak ada dah, that's it. Right now, we open to any question, anything that you want to know.
All right, so far we don't have any questions yet, but I'll keep the ball rolling while we wait for the audience to ask a few questions. Okay, so first of all, what exactly is the purpose that accounting professionals play in businesses?
Okay. Wah, start je dah kasih question power. I'm going to simplify it. Kalau nak tahu what accountants do, first you have to see what is the need of the society. Because in any profession in the world, it starts with the need and then profession to come. So for example, orang sakit, people want to be healed, then people create the profession of a doctor. Accountancy is a fairly modern, I would say, a modern profession because of course in the old days, people don't actually have the debit and credit. But basically, if you think about it, it starts with the investors and the companies which they want to invest. So kalau you tengok the stock market, you ada banyak company, right? You have AirAsia, you have Maybank, you have CIMB. You want to buy shares. You want to buy shares, you want to put money where the company is safe. How do you know the company is safe? You don't know because you're not the management, you don't run the company. You take financial statements and you read it, right? So the financial statements are very important because it provides you with some information company tu macam mana. Lebih kurang, if I want to use another analogy, you nak beli barang kat Lazada, you nak beli barang kat Shopee, you nampak gambar, you click product details, dia pergi tunjuk benda apa produk tu, dia pergi tunjuk 5 star, you pergi tengok komen. It's basically a transfer of information, right? So that's what financial statement is. It is another way to communicate to the people what the company has done for the last 1 year, right? So the job of accountant, number one, is to prepare the financial statements. And to prepare financial statements, you tak boleh main taruh revenue expense je. Kena ikut a certain standard, which is called International Financial Reporting Standards, which is a law in this country. You have to follow it because if you don't follow, your account gets disqualified, right? So it takes a lot of knowledge. You need to know a lot of IFRSs, IFRS 9, IFRS 17 dan sebagainya. Prepare that financial statements. Bila financial statements sudah prepare, then come another layer of professional called auditor. Auditor ni kerja dia pergi check financial statements, pergi check is it true and fair or not. And then basically the end product, the auditor kasih the auditor's report, and after that the financial statements get produced. Now then you might ask, why so many work? Why is the whole profession just to create a little book, right? Financial statements is extremely important in the global market and capital economy. It's not just for the shareholders. Bank negara look at financial statements as regulator. Government look at it. Inland revenue look at it, to assess how much tax you pay. Everyone looks at it, so which is why financial statements are extremely important. Because financial statements are extremely important, you have the job of accountants to prepare it and to audit it. Does it answer your question?
Yes. Very much.
So that's
Very
it.
much. It was very wise. Definitely.
Very good. So you now know more than what I did when I was, like when 23 years ago. I had no clue. You now more. I thought I was somebody the cashier machine to just the can. It's not like that. It's more complicated than that. Hmm.
All right, so we do have a question from
Yep.
Haziq Faizi. Greetings, Mr. Nick. How high is the demand of accounting professionals in current industry?
I would say the accounting profession has always been high in demand for a long time, not just currently. It is perceived to be a fairly stable profession in terms of market naik ke, market turun ke. You will always have an opportunity, a job, which is a bit different compared to, let's say, investment banking. Investment banking, when the market goes up, they get a lot of money, but when the market goes down, they lost their job. Same with, airline industry. A lot of pilots get laid off, because of the economic downturn. So right now, and also for the longest of time, accountants have been very much in demand. And in Malaysia particularly, we have this trend of making accountants CEO. And it is a very Asian thing. For example, you tengok the accountant of, the CEO of Petronas, Tengku Taufik. He's a chartered accountant. And as a matter of fact, he was a partner in PwC. We got promoted together, became a CEO of Petronas. And many other CEOs of GLC in Malaysia are chartered or certified accountants. Which is great because in Malaysia, if you're an accountant, you have a lot of opportunity, not just an accountant, but also in management.
S equals to displacement equals to in.
Very apologies. I think she accidentally unmuted herself, but I can't find. Okay.
I'm
Please.
already muted the guy.
Okay, right. I thought it was something that I said that offended somebody.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, where was I before? So yes, great. It's a lot of demand. And another thing that I would say is with accountants, because it's very mobile. So once you work, you have a professional accounting qualification, ICAW ke ACCA ke, ramai orang dia kerja kat accounting firm for 3 or 5 years, and then dia pergi GLC. So for example, one of my good friend, I had an interview with him last week. We were doing some voluntary work for my pack. He was the CFO of RHB. Banking group, Tengku Taufik, Taufik also nama dia, CFO now, he's the head of business, also an accountant. So accountants are very mobile. A lot of my staff also, they go overseas. The reason is because unlike, let's say, law, which is very localized. So kalau you study law kat Malaysia, you study Malaysian law, and whatever that you study, kalau you go to UK, you have to study UK law. Accountants all over the world, they study international financial reporting standards. Because of that, they are very mobile. I have a lot of my staff dah tak boleh kira dengan jari, kerja kat Singapore, kerja kat Australia, kerja kat New Zealand, 3 kerja kat US, 1 kerja kat Canada, everywhere, because the demand is very high, not just in Malaysia, but all over the world.
All right, thank you very much. I hope that answers your question, Haziq. Okay, so another question coming from me. Now, just now you stated how the trend is usually that those students who graduated with ECCA or ICW or accounting degrees or whatsoever usually go to accounting firms and spend about 3 years or so, right? Now,
Yes.
some of us know that the environment is very grueling, it's very challenging. But is there another method, say for ACCA or ICAW students, that they could go for to complete the module, the PER module, the experience?
Okay. I have to caveat it a bit because when I sat for my exam, itu dah lama, and then of course every few years they change the module, right? But generally, most professional bodies, they basically, you have to take the exam. After exam, you have to complete a work experience. So all you need to have work experience. The only difference is some, for example, ICAW, you have to secure a job and sort of like you work and take exams. So that's what I did. So I got a job dekat KPMG UK. And then after that, I kerja for 2 bulan and then ambil 1 month off study, and then kerja 3 bulan, ambil 2 months off study. So dia macam tu. ACCA pula, it's very flexible. Don't quote me on this because it might be outdated, but you can complete it first, finish the whole paper, lepas tu kerja. But all professional bodies, doesn't matter like accounting ke investment ke CFA ke, you all need to have professional experience before you get admitted to the membership.
Right, thank you. Yes, actually, ACCA is quite flexible. That's very true. Okay, so we have a question coming from Tasnim. She would like to ask a question.
Yes, thank you, Iman. So, Nik, as you mentioned just now, you personally also didn't know what actually an accountant does, right? So maybe you want to share at which point of your life, I would say, that you actually achieve, we wouldn't say a complete understanding on accounting itself, but a fair understanding on what is accounting itself. So maybe you want to share about that. Yeah.
Probably on the first month at my job actually, because in any profession you start kerja, you already have a boss who tell you we need this done, deadline minggu depan. You kind of know already what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
So not just me, but almost like everyone in the team, we kind of like got it pretty quick, you know. Kata, benda macam ni rupanya we have to do. What do we have to do now? So I felt that most people, they sort of get the idea very quickly. The only difference is to master that craft, and that takes a long time.
Understood. So you would say during your study time you did understand, but just the like technical, just the I mean from the book lah kan.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, for example, at university, I did accounting and finance. I mean, of course, we knew what financial statement was. We know what asset liability. We know what audit was. But until you actually go to an audit client, and which is a bank, and starts talking about forex exchange and talk about investments, talk about loans and hedging, they don't care you baru ke, you dah lama ke dekat the firm tu. They will just treat you like a professional, and you just like that lah.
Exactly.
So that is life.
Yeah. So maybe you can just share also some tips, like extra efforts or anything that one can actually do for them to top up lah. Like like you said, people actually expect you to be the professional kind. So apa the extra effort that one can actually do for them to be nampak professional and be like one?
Okay, I'm just going to share with you what I did. I'm not saying that betul ke tak, but what I did was I doa banyak-banyak lah. Because I tahu nak buat apa kan. No, just kidding. My view has sort of changed over the years. I mean, during my time, me and my friends, we had this idea, nak buat something, kena prepare dulu, kena study dulu, semua dah tahu, baru buat. The world nowadays changing so fast, the philosophy has changed. The philosophy now, you buat, you make mistake, you adapt, you relearn, you buat again, you make mistake, you do it again, you improve. That's it. Because I tell you, even now, as a partner in the Big Four, I don't know everything, because new jobs come along, new requirements, new regulations, you have to do it. So I would say that it's not really the extra effort, it's more like the extra courage to do something, to not afraid to suck at what you do, at something new, and then having the courage to improve and learn.
Cool, thank you.
Right, courage number 1 and doa. Okay.
Yeah, doa. Yes.
Okay, so our next question is coming from Daniel Hakim Zaini. He's currently a student, Form 5. Okay, so he asks, which one's the best path? Terus professional accountancy, i.e. ACA, ICW, or go for accounting degree first?
Oh, very, very good question. Daniel Hakim, yeah?
Yes.
Again, I give you my personal view. Of course, a lot of my friends might disagree with me, but personally, I felt that I macam menyesal sikit I ambil accounting degree. The reason I menyesal, it's not that it's not a good degree. I had a great time at the university. It's just that I spent 3 years studying accountancy. Lepas tu, I buat ICAW, I studied accountancy again. So rasa macam accountancy. because the thing is, the way that the professional papers are set up doesn't matter ACCA ke, ICAW ke, it starts from the point that you don't need to have advanced knowledge on that topic, because it starts from foundation, right? So I had a lot of friends, who did law, who did engineering, who did other interesting degree, and then they become a chartered accountant. So as a matter of fact, our chairman in PwC Malaysia, Datuk Muhammad Faiz Azmi, was a trained lawyer. He trained as a barrister, and then he did chartered accounting, which is great because he knows legal, and he knows accountancy, and he knows business, right? So I felt if I could go back in time, I would do something like macam law ke ataupun engineering or something, but that's just my personal point of view lah. Many people would say otherwise. This is a matter of opinion, no right or wrong. Now, to the question, is it better to go terus buat professional accountancy rather than degree? Yes, well, I wouldn't say yes, but I'm saying that, yeah, some of my staff, because they don't want to, they want to basically make it more efficient. They don't want to basically spend too much money on degree. They straight buat ACCA. And they are great, they are, as competent as everyone else with a degree. So the way that I see it, professional paper ni, dia lebih kurang macam an equalizing factor. You pass the professional paper, you kind of like at the same level with everyone. But is it better or not? It goes back to your personal circumstances. Because kalau you straight buat professional accountancy paper, that means you are missing 3 years or 4 years of university degree, which in itself is also an experience. Because in my experience, university is also about, is also about basically building connections, building friendships, and the rest of it. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Nik. I hope that answers the question, Daniel. Okay, so our next question is coming from Taufik. Among the big four, what is the difference?
This one is going to get recorded, kan? So I'm going to say all are equally good.
Yes, because you're the partner, right? It's very difficult for you to say anything.
One thing that you learn when you become an accountant, you become very careful about your statements. Everything have to be factual and so on. So I would say, what's the difference? The difference are in names, the difference in color, the brands. We are all very professional.
Okay.
Tapi kalau nak tahu sebenar, you can call me. No, they're all good. I mean, look, I worked in KPMG, I worked in PwC. Big four are big four. Great accounting firms, great global brand. I mean, on a serious note, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm very sorry to Taufik, but yeah, the circumstances are like that. It's very difficult to put things into ratings or rankings. Okay, so just now
But let me offer you something to help, because to some people, the reason dia nak tanya question ni sebab dia nak tahu what is the advantage to me, right? So my suggestion is you look at the clients that company, that accounting firm has, because depending whether you are in the UK, in the Middle East, or in Asia, the list of clients are different for each territory, and in the accounting firm, what defines you and the training that you get goes back to the client that you have. So to help answer your question, Taufik, one day when you have to choose among the big four, you look at which clients they audit or which clients they work with, and that will help you to decide which. So for example, if you are interested in the financial services industry, the fact is PwC in Malaysia audits the most number of banks in Malaysia. So we are very strong in that. But other industry, other firm could be strong.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we have one question from your batchmate, Hafizi.
Hafizi.
He asked, what is the cabaran paling mencabar dalam kerja Nik? He wants you to say something about okay. 1MDB, something to do with 1MDB.
I'm sorry, I cannot comment on that.
Yes, very sorry. Because obviously, like, you hold a confidentiality agreement, right, with your client, yes. And in itself, the case is so big, and because it deals with an entity, a big firm, and not only PwC but also other firms as well. Okay, so we have a question from one of our ANSARA members, Fazlan.
Oh, hi, Nick. So
Hello.
I saw your profile earlier, and then I saw that this is not really accounting specific questions, but apart from ICAW, you also have CFA, FRM, and PKMC. So my questions would be that a few questions here. So like first, would you encourage other people to take as much as professional papers as possible? That's number one. And then number two, what's your like personal motivation to take all these papers in the first place? And then lastly would be are these like especially the non-accounting professional papers like CFA or FRM, are they like really relevant for those that want to work in an audit firm?
Okay.
Yep, that's all.
Okay, so the first question is, must everyone else do it? Number two is, why did I do it? Is it? Okay, so must everyone do it? The answer is no, because most people, they don't, most people don't sit for multiple qualifications, so you don't need it for your job. Typically, CFA is usually used in the investment industry, ICAW in the accounting firm, FRM in risk management, PKMC in treasury, and MBA in dan lain-lain lah, right? Why did I take it? Because I was curious and I enjoyed learning. So that was the reason.
Okay, all right, noted. Thank you. And like, what's your like personal motivation to take it? Oh yeah, other than, and then like for those young wanted to work in an audit firm, right? Like which one would they focus on? Kalau say they don't have anything yet.
Kalau work in audit firm, then definitely should take a professional. I mean, if you're in audit firm in assurance, yeah, because accounting firm pun ada audit dan tax dan juga consulting. Assuming that in assurance, it's highly advisable to take accountancy professional exam, accounting professional paper such as ACCA, SIGMA, ICAW, and so on.
Okay, all right, yeah, got it. Thank you.
All right. So our next question is from Haziq Faizi. Can you share a few things to do after SPM to further our studies on accounting course? Extra. But yes.
So this one after SPM tapi before A level, is it, or before degree? What you should do?
He
Is that the
didn't
question?
indicate in between, but he said after SPM.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm gonna share with you what I did. I'm not. What I did was I enjoyed myself because I know I went to a lot of barbecue, went to meet a lot of friends, catch up. Because that particular time when you are not working yet, you're not gonna have that time forever. So I had no regrets. I mean, of course, if you're into getting more knowledge, attending more courses, digital courses, it's also good. But for me, I actually spend a lot of time with my friends.
Okay, so anything with regards to how, okay, maybe if not after SPM, but like what did you do to learn more about accounting itself?
Oh, I didn't do anything to learn about accounting. I just waited until sampai A level degree, because I know that I'll be spending 3 years studying accounting degree. I'm not like you, Iman. You're sort of like waiting. Tak sabar. I mean, for me, kata alamak, university nak start. I better spend time playing video games. So I'm a bit different than you. So we are a bit different, I think.
Oh, but yes, I did start my studies terus like 1 bulan after SPM. Okay, so from Anwar Farid. As an accountant, you're bound to find secrets that people would want to hide. So how do you protect yourself in these situations? Interesting.
I have to be.
Left many asking how the firm's auditors Arthur Anderson.
Sorry, I'm not sure. There was a voice just now. Okay, I'm going to ask that question. Protect. So protect, I mean, it's a different thing, right? So if you mean physical protection, I don't think I've been in any situation where people physically threaten me, so tak ada. But protect ni, the way that I see it from the professional point of view, is about doing the job well, following the principle, being honest, having integrity. That's how I protect myself day to day, right? Because as professional, you are required to follow a certain protocol, a certain process. You are supposed to work with your other team member. And if you don't follow these rules and principles, then you're exposing yourself to risk. So the way that I protect myself is by making sure that I do a good job, I have integrity, honest, communicate with my team members, being transparent, and the rest of it.
So practically practicing accounting with ethics lah kan?
Definitely, you need to have ethics, because kalau tak, people get in trouble for not having ethics and integrity.
Oh, but on that point, right, ethics. I think after the case involving one of the previously there were big five, yeah. And then we introduced ethics right into the scene to counter these problems. So what is your point of view from a professional inside the industry itself towards the growth of these developments in ethics?
Actually, my view is ethics has always been a requirement, a basic requirement for human society. Bukan baru dah lama dah. Even during the ancient civilization, people want their the people who are accountable for their responsible for their well-being to be ethical. You know, in a modern context, this get formalized into guidelines, regulation, dan sebagainya. But I would argue that the requirement to be ethical is a very essential part of any human society.
All right, thank you. Okay, so from Haziq Faizi again, how do you put your passion to venture into the accounting field?
Passion is a very tricky subject, because different people has a different view about passion. Actually, that is a very good question, Haziq, because I'm sure many people say you have to do something you're passionate about. But what does passion mean to you? Because to some people, passion is something that bila dia bangun tidur, dia kena rasa excited je daripada pagi sampai malam. If you don't feel that excitement, that kick inside, then not passionate, right? Some people view passion macam tu, kena seronok. To me, the passion is not, I don't see passion from the lens of seronok, because I can tell you this line of work is very tough. You know, even though I enjoyed, I celebrate a lot of great things, but banyak juga benda yang susah. You know, kerja very long hours, and you know, sometimes you make mistakes, and you know, it's very tough. But I put the word passion as, you know, trying to do a good job and achieve something. So to me, the way that I see passion is not really bangun pagi rasa seronok sampai you know, rasa excited. To me, seronok, passion is being able to achieve something, to complete something. So how did I find that passion? I suppose the way that my parents brought me up, because my parents, my mom, my dad, you know, instilled this value that the most admirable quality in any person is perseverance. That's what my parents have told me. Dia kata pandai, fine, ramai orang pandai dalam dunia ni, tak pergi ke mana. Dia kata talented, orang talented bersepah. Perseverance is the most important quality in humankind. That's what my parents told me. Of course, some people agree, some people disagree. So that is my passion, the ability to finish something.
All right, thank you very much. And actually, I read in a book called Grit. It actually has been done, research on how perseverance or grit.
Yes, I read it.
Very important factor for someone to stay inside a field and be successful, which is, you know, success in its terms is very broad, but staying long inside a certain industry, you're able to build yourself much better, right? Okay, so our next question from Tasnim. Adam Rosli. Apologies. Can you tell us more about your studies from SPM until you got your first job?
After SPM, then I sat for my A levels. I sat for 3 papers: maths, accounting, and economics. Lepas tu, I went to do my accounting and finance degree. 3 tahun, then accounting and finance punya subject lah. And then after that, I got my first job. I did my ICAEW. So I think that summarizes it.
Okay, now we have an addition onto that question. I think so. About your scholarships, you obtained a scholarship from Mara, right? To do your
Correct.
A levels and degree.
Correct. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Mara. Without their help, I wouldn't be able to go so far in my career. Yeah, which shows you that in life sometimes it's not just about you; it's help from other people.
So how about your professional papers? Like, what did you obtain any aid or support scholarships?
Well, the system dekat UK at that time, you dapat kerja dengan Big Four, they pay for your studies. I mean, that's it lah. I mean, that's how the Big Four would do it.
So I assume that KPMG supported your professional papers, ICAEW, yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Okay, so our next question is from Arif. Can you tell your experience during your study years? Because he's currently studying professional papers. It can get tough from time to time, but also fun. He says that it would be interesting to hear your thoughts or your hardships or what you wish you had done during your study years.
Okay, I'm going to give you advice. Don't do like what I did. Jangan study last minute. Yeah, that's number one. Apart from that, I think professional paper ni by nature is tough. The pass rate is very low. All that I would say is I know it's easier said than done. Try not to stress too much. Try to have fun. And the mental discipline that I had at that time was like, look, I mean, so susah. God has decided the result I'm going to get. So just tawakal je lah. I did my best, right? So that helped me to cope, because when you think about it, bila you sit for an exam, it's not just about how hard you study. It's about how healthy you are. You tak demam, that you're feeling good. You had a good sleep. Banyak benda. Sometimes in life ni, it's not just about what you do, but it's also basically blessing from God lah. That's all I would say. Also, it's good to keep up with friends, because professional paper, it's not just about you studying alone. You have to discuss certain concept with your friends, get a lot of help, benda macam tu. So I think those are the things that I can advise.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we have a similar question to as just now from Aisha Rosli on Facebook. She asked whether she should go for professional certificate like CAT, ACCA, or go for diploma and degree first. Now this has an addition of diploma, so maybe you could just elaborate on that part.
Unfortunately, I'm just going to be very frank about here. I'm not able to advise on that. But I'm not very familiar about that route. I didn't sit for ACCA. But what you can do is you can reach out to our HR contact dekat PwC. They are very helpful. They can also share with you the option dan sebagainya. I rather you do that and get correct information rather than me giving the wrong information. So I hope it's okay.
All right. Okay, so next from Muhammad Ashraf Mazlan, does the salary, okay, is the salary worth the work? Because he's currently doing ACCA. I think in terms of working at accounting firms, yes.
My answer is yes.
All right. Okay, so I think we have one more question in the chat. Okay, so from D, I want to ask, in future, will electronics replace human beings as accountants? I think he's in reference to artificial intelligence.
We don't know. But I can tell you what the research suggests. The research, you can read a lot of report produced by PwC and other Big Four in this about the future of work. You can Google it. We had a very good publication on that. The projection is artificial intelligence will be able to do a lot more and more about what humans can do. So basically what the word that they use is in the past, during the Industrial Revolution, people pergi tanam padi, gandum, use human labor. And then with machine, you have mechanical competence. So because of that mechanical competence, a lot of people lose their job. With farmers, then they have to work in a factory, right? So the next revolution, now people are saying that machines not only have mechanical competence, but they also have intellectual competence. Case in point, kalau macam you pergi tengok banking, people yang jaga Wall Street, cakap buy, sell, sekarang banyak done by computer. It's basically run by, mathematical algorithm, which looks at the different movement in market price, share price, bond price, find inefficiencies, and execute by thousands of buy and sell transactions per second. Humans tak boleh buat. So in the area of trading, people say machines are already doing that. Accountants, I don't know. My answer is I don't know. But what I can say is it's probably going to take some time, because accountants ni, kalau kerja dia just bookkeeping, then of course any machines can do that. But the accountants that we live in the world today do a lot of human judgment. You look at financial reporting standards, you assess that transaction, you basically decide, you discuss. There are a lot of human interactions in there. So maybe in a long time, yes, maybe all of us will be replaced by robots, but in the near future, I think it will take some time. That's just my view.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so now my question, I have my personal question. Because you worked in KPMG overseas in UK, now I've heard that the environment there, the culture there as well, can be quite different to countries like Malaysia, Asian countries. So maybe could you give to us an image of how it is different?
Okay, this is my personal view, and I have to say, I have to caveat this. It's just a view of one person, right? Because Shell and Esso and the rest, and also I rather not say KPMG specifically. I would say in general. But what I felt was the culture dekat UK or European, because of their highly individualistic culture, they are less reliant on instructions. And they are more reliant about the ability to think on your own and to communicate, right? So therefore, kalau kerja dekat UK tu, dia punya instruction is very simple. This is our objective. Figure your way out. Generally, macam tu. Of course, not generally. Of course, depend on industry lah. Some are a lot more prescriptive than others. Whereas dekat Asian countries in general, the instruction tend to be more prescriptive. That's number one, my personal observation. Number two is what we call this concept of power distance, which has been studied a lot. You can refer to this Professor Dr. Hofstede, who conducted a study of cultural values across the world. Basically, it suggests that the power distance between the leaders dengan followers dekat European country, Western country ni is much less. So kalau dekat UK, you don't refer to your boss as Mr. Nick or Mr. Daniel or Mr. David. You just call everyone by the first name. I call my partner Simon. He called me Nick, right? If I have a problem, I go to his room and I knock on his door and I talk to him. So the distance, people don't put too much respect or too much emphasis in terms of your title or position dan sebagainya. Western people, and I would say the Dutch people especially, they are notorious for this. They have a very strong egalitarian values. Your worth is basically your point of view and what you say. Whereas in Asian countries in general, the power distance tend to be higher. People tend to put a lot of reverence towards their leaders. So therefore culturally, that affect the context of communication. I'm not saying which one is good or bad, better or worse. It's just different. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. But also to that, to add to that, what do you think? How do you think it affects the efficiency for both cultures?
Very good question. I don't know lah, but if you try to look at it from another perspective, If you see country like China and Japan, which has a fairly similar culture to us to a certain extent in terms of power distance dan sebagainya, they tend to be very good at manufacturing, at production, at assembly. Whereas if you look at countries like United States and Germany, those who share what they call the Western culture, they tend to be very good at creativity, innovation, and intellectual property. Now, would you say that they are like that because their culture made it efficient? I don't know, because there are too many causal factors, correlations, people can speculate, but maybe from there, we can all draw our own conclusion. So the answer is maybe some culture is better at certain economic activities and some culture are better at others, which is the wonderful thing about the diversity of humans.
All right, but how about trying to applicate inside the accounting industry in terms of efficiency with each culture?
That's very difficult to say because there is no proper study done. People can speculate, but I don't like to speculate. I don't think there have been any study which says that this country is worse at accounting sebab culture dia macam tu. I don't think there's been anything like that, so I cannot answer that.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so from Mariam, so you mentioned that you got into accounting industry because ikut kawan and that you had some knowledge about it at first. So her question is, did you have any regrets throughout your study years or career?
Interestingly, no. I didn't have any regrets. I mean, you would imagine that kalau ikut member, you have no clue, you would regret, right? So I don't know, maybe blessing ke apa ke, but it just, I think it's a combination of two things. Number one is, like I said, my parents always told me, you start something, you finish it, no excuse. Number two, I kind of like accountancy. It's not too bad, it's very interesting. So no regrets.
Very interesting. Okay, so do we have any more? Tasnim, did you want to ask any questions? Yes. Okay, please do.
Yep, thank you, Iman. So I have two questions. One, can you tell us how long exactly did it take you to actually be where you're at now, being a partner in an audit firm? And secondly, as we all know, most accountants or mainly auditors will actually quit after 3 to 5 years from audit firm and go into like DGLCs, right? Because maybe because of the working hours and such, too much workload, those kind of things. We heard so much about that. So how did you actually cope on the work-life balance, so-called work-life balance? Yeah, those two questions. Thank you.
So the first question is, when did I become a partner, right? And number two, how did I cope? Okay, so I became a partner at the age of 38. Sekarang I 44 years old. So 38, I mean I start kerja umur 21 tahun, 20, yeah, 21, 38, 17 years. Do the maths lah. Kalau I got this salah, so mati ya. Kena ambil calculator. Use calculator. So you work out the maths. So that's how long it took me to become a partner. Of course, different people, they became partner earlier. Some people became later. It's a case by case situation. How did I cope? I suppose because I've always wanted to finish it, to become a partner. So that's how I cope. I just imagine the end state.
So you're saying that you are quite determined that once you enter the accounting profession, might as well you just go all the way to being a partner. Am I correct?
No, actually sebenarnya it's not that different than any of you are doing. I mean, you started your journey dekat MRSM Taiping masa Form 4, right? And then why did you stay for 2 years? It's very tough because you stayed because you wanted to finish it. You were determined. I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure that, it wasn't like all happy all the time, very tough. Why did you finish it? Because you were determined to do it. So what I did was I simply took that and I just multiplied it 10 times. Same thing.
Okay, interesting.
From 2 years become 20 years.
Yep. Thank you, Nik.
All right. So we do still welcome any more questions, despite 9:48. We finish at 10, so don't worry. Okay, so you'll be getting a question from me. Okay, so working life, like you said just now, can be very daunting, right? Because you're given the work and then you're given the responsibility. There's very little room for you to make mistakes because of the outcomes that will impact to other stakeholders, right? But what is your point of view towards making mistakes, and even though you're already working?
Making mistakes are extremely important, because without making mistakes, you don't learn. All professionals, accountants, doctors, lawyers make mistakes all the time. The only difference is, are those tolerable mistakes, or are those serious mistakes, right? Mistakes are made on a very, very regular basis. The problem is, mistakes become large mistakes when people are not honest about their mistakes, and they don't ask questions, and they try to hide their mistakes. That's when bad things happen. But what I would say, don't be afraid of mistakes, but keep your integrity, be very honest, and consult. So mistakes are very important, because that's the only way you learn.
Right, thank you very much. Okay, so all right. So I also Fazlan told me about your educational background. So you took FRM and then you took CFA. Now these two are, do they overlap, or like what is the difference between CFA and FRM?
Okay, well, that is it's going to take a very long explanation. You can, but in a summary, CFA is very investment geared. The topic involves quantitative finance, financial derivatives, asset portfolio allocation, strategic asset allocation, and the rest of it. It's about the act of valuing a financial instruments, deciding where to invest it. If you have a pension fund, how do you balance the portfolio? Things like that. FRM, and it also has the financial risk management bit within the CFA. FRM is very much into how do you manage the risk, how do you read the risk, how do you control the risk. There is an overlap, tapi dia punya fokus tu lain. Because all professional exam certification have a certain bit of overlap, because in the end, finance, you need to have a bit of accounting. Even CFA pun, if I'm not mistaken, have some accounting. Sorry, I just can't remember. So the overlap memang ada, but they have their specific focus.
I see. Thank you very much. Okay, so I would like to call Cikgu Aisha. Like, do you have any questions to ask, Nick? Tak ada. Oh, okay, tak ada. Okay, so one very general question from me. I think this is something that sometimes people ask when they're trying to consider should they do accounting, should they do finance, these kinds of bidang. So from your observation, what sort of personalities do tend to enter and do better in these industries?
I can speculate, Iman, but I'm not going to do that, because I'd rather not make an irresponsible statement. I don't know. I would say personality. I would say quality. Quality is typically people tend to, in a professional line such as accountants, there are a lot of analysis. So you need to have analytical mind. You need to be able, or you need to like analyzing different numbers and words and coming up with a form of conclusion, right? Discipline, because you need to be very detailed. You need to be very disciplined and basically meticulous. I think that's the word. You need to be sabar, perseverance. You have to be a bit mentally tough, because there will be some questions, some problems that you don't understand, but you need to keep going at it. Dan banyak lagi lah, but I hope that that gives the kind of thing. Dari segi personality, your extrovert, your introvert dan sebagainya, I think to me it doesn't really matter. There are many extroverts and introverts in the accounting profession. Both are equally successful.
Right. Thank you very much.
Iman.
Oh yes, Cikgu. Yes.
Sorry, Iman, Cikgu nak tanya. Cikgu nak tanya untuk student Cikgu. Okay, Cikgu nak tanya. Saya rasa pasal sekarang ni ramai macam student dia tak berani nak ambil account tu, dia punya pilihan. Kadang-kadang ada yang ambil, lepas tu dekat sekolah dia rasa tak boleh, dia keluar, dia pergi ke biology. Lepas tu ada juga student yang memang dalam bidang pre-accountant, macam contoh dia ambil ACCA like you kan, dia rasa macam susah untuk dia nak pergi. Cikgu rasa tadi memang betul Cik Nik ada beritahu dia tentang passion kita kan, tapi boleh tak bertekan Cik Nik tekankan lagi pada student yang inilah journey dia. Kalau dia nak masuk betul-betul masuk bidang ni, inilah journey dia. Inilah yang dia kena hadap apa semua. Cikgu rasa macam sekarang student dia macam kadang-kadang dia takut nak ambil risk tu.
Cikgu, actually, what you said, Cikgu, betul. It's a very very common topic in because I also do a lot of mentoring, Cikgu, talking to students about their motivation, and it just amazed me how some people, many people, decide to stop their journey because they perceive certain things to be challenging. They perceive that they cannot do it. Belum try lagi, they perceive tak boleh buat, and this is very common in humanity. We are humans, sometimes that feeling, boleh buat ke, am I good enough ke, it makes us it is what defines us as human. My personal view is, this is my personal view lah, right? Yes, professional paper was difficult, but in my opinion, so was AdMaths masa SPM. I was struggling at maths, because some people, they make it like that macam, oh, at maths lain, tapi professional paper ni is impossible. You have to be like Elon Musk, macam genius. I don't think so, because the journey that I saw, not just my own journey, but also my colleagues who actually sat for the exam for me, the people yang pass are the people yang disciplined enough to buat homework, to baca buku and put enough hours. Those yang tak buat, dia macam tak buat exercise, then they tend to fail. I mean, of course lah, some people too genius, then they tak belajar pun dia tu. But the correlation is, you put effort, you tend to pass, right? So it's not impossible. To me, there is no reason to be afraid of it because you hear other people say it's difficult. Yes, it is difficult, but I'm pretty sure at maths, SPM was also difficult, and I'm not even joking. It was a difficult topic, isn't it? What you learn about standard deviation, you learn about quadratic equation, you learn about logarithm, and the rest of it. Was it easy? No, that was really difficult, but you finished it. So that's what I would say. Many things in life are difficult, but nothing is impossible. I hope that answer. I hope that gives some sort of motivation to some people, because I don't want people to think that you need to be kind of special, you need to be kind of like super genius in order to complete the professional paper. No, people who complete the professional exams, they are not genius. They are just simply hardworking.
Very true.
Dia dekat sekolah kan, Cikgu Nik, Mr. Nik, dia dekat sekolah, selalunya pelajar-pelajar yang ambil account ni adalah pelajar-pelajar dari kelas yang memang pandai. Kelas tu memang akan selalu dapat top, first ranking dekat top yang ambil account ni berbanding dengan pelajar yang pelajar kelas lain. Tapi end up
adalah
dia
cikgu
takut. Tapi sekarang ni lah. Tapi end up dia takut nak ambil account tu as dia punya career for the future. So macam saya rasa macam rugilah kan kalau mereka tak ambil, sebab macam ni macam peluang. Kadang-kadang saya rasa macam pelajar saya daripada yang tak ambil account, lepas tu dia pergi universiti, dia ambil. Dia rasa, cikgu boleh tak cikgu? Boleh? Saya cakap boleh, sebenarnya boleh. Kan? Macam mana cuba Mr. Ni bagi tahu dekat pelajar-pelajar yang tak ambil account pun, even tak ambil account pun sebenarnya lepas habis SPM dia boleh je ambil kan. Dia kena start je.
Okay, number one, during my time, to me, kalau masuk MRSM typing tu dah pandai lah, bukan calon-calon orang masuk MRSM typing. All of you are very, clever people, highly academic, highly intellectual, right? And during my time, a lot yang dapat 4 flat, yang top score, they are from biology class. So I don't see, at my time lah, correlation accounting ni yang pandai sikit ke tak ada, Number dua, yes, some people takut ambil account, some people takut ambil biology, some people takut to start a startup, some people takut to even to basically take a medical degree, right? What I would say is, to me, the issue is not about accounting and so on. The issue is about courage to basically have a go at something when you don't have the perfect information, when you don't have all the information, but just having a go and not being afraid to just fail it and have a go at it. Because ramai orang to say that they wanted to start a business tapi tak start pasal takut. Startup is not easy, very difficult. Some people wanted to go into programming and they felt that they cannot do it. So I see that this is like a common insecurity. I also have that all the time. To have insecurity is normal, it's human, but the courage to me is the ability to conquer your fear. So my daughter asked me baru-baru ni, what's the difference between courage and bravery? So I said bravery tu berani lah, you pergi tak takut apa. the absence of fear. But I told her that courage is more important than bravery. Because courage tu maksud dia you takut. You memang takut benda tu, tapi you buat juga because you have the courage to face it. So I told her courage is a lot more important than bravery. And to have courage in any professional line, tak kisah accountant ke, doktor ke, engineer ke, is very important.
Cikgu?
Cikgu harap student cikgu dengar lah. Cikgu nak dia masuk accounting.
Cikgu nak I promo accounting ke? Well,
Boleh.
yeah, I mean, accounting is a great line. I mean, I love accountancy. I hope that if you feel, some of you listen who feel inspired by it, please pursue it. Don't just dismiss it because kawan you cakap susah or tak boleh buat. Don't listen to those negativities.
Ya. Betul. Okay, Man, ada question tu?
All right, so
Aisha.
we have one last question. Okay, so from Aisha. So she's currently an accounting student for SPM 2020, which is the recent SPM. So she wants to achieve her dream as a forensic accountant. The environment doesn't expose much about it. So do you have any tips to further study towards being a forensic accountant?
Okay, very good question. This is a typical question in real life, typically in life, there are pros and cons and you have to balance all of it. For example, in my time, after 5 years dekat KPMG UK, I had a great time. I learned so much. People were great. The salary was great. The opportunity were great, but I decided I wanted to learn more about banking and treasury processes. So I knew I couldn't get that from accounting firm, so I lompat masuk investment bank, right? And then from there, I wanted to do more risk assurance. I masuk PwC. So typically it's like that lah. This is what we do. Kalau you cannot get it from your current organization, you change the environment. But you have to balance that with the economic situation also, because during my time, I was lucky because the economy was booming. There were a lot of opportunities. Sekarang, the economy is down. So, have to be a bit careful in terms of, is the timing right and so on. But what I would say is I'm very optimistic, our economic growth, our economic recovery, this whole thing will be over. How soon to, up to God lah. But, the economy will be good again. So I suppose that would be my response to it.
All right, thank you so much, Nick. I think since now it's already 10:02, so we're going to end the session. So thank you very much to our audience who have joined us, who have interacted with us by asking questions, such interesting questions, honestly, and very open-minding. So thank you to our Facebook audience, our Zoom audience, and as well, of course, thank you very much, Nik Shahrizal Sulaiman from batch SPM 1994 MRSM Taipei. Okay.
Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Yes, honestly, your talk, it went back to basics, honestly. You went back to courage, perseverance, and it was things that, it was very relatable to other people. It seemed doable, and accounting definitely is doable in many sense, of course.
Definitely. Many things in life are actually, it looks difficult until you do it, then it looks simple. Actually, that's why, that reminds me to answer the question, why did I take so many papers? I mentioned because I like learning. I like learning new things. But because I've always had this thing, kenapa susah sangat, I better learn about it. I thought investments was rocket science. I thought only people in Wall Street, in New York can only learn about it. Once I started learning about it, it's not difficult. Interest rate swaps and also credit derivatives and options are easy, but people think it's difficult. Same with chartered accountancy. People think it's difficult. Once you've done it, it's easy. Same with maths. People think are difficult. I still think it's difficult, but after you've done it, it becomes easy. So biasa lah. Back to basics.
All right. Okay, so with that, we would like to say thank you very much and good night. And of course, thank you to our strategic partner, TNF Energy, for providing us this Zoom platform. Okay, so I think, oh yes. All right, so practically now, I would like to share with you, Mr. Nick, because our session has already ended.
Okay.
Our guest for 27th March, one Ikram, one Lutfi, also your batchmate.
Yes, he was my class monitor, ketua kelas, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, a very good friend of him. You know, we are very close. Yeah. I nak kutuk dia, but then I realized this is being recorded, so I better not say it. But we are good friends. Yes.
But he posted a lot of comments, very exciting and funny comments on.
Oh, dalam Facebook Live, is it? I better check it. Yeah, Ikram. Dia tu my ketua kelas, and he thinks that, you know, he still rule over me pasal, you know, ketua kelas kan powerful kan. Lepas tu dia jadi ketua pengawas, dia tu terror dia tu. So you better listen to what he say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, that's it.
I don't think so. Cikgu Aisha, is there anything that you'd like to say? Cikgu?
No. Cikgu rasa sangat menarik. Cikgu rasa sangat menarik hari ni. Cikgu harap student-student cikgu dalam ni memang dengar dan boleh ambil panduan. Cikgu rasa ni satu benda peluang yang bagus lah untuk pelajar kan, untuk dengar daripada orang yang memang pakar dalam bidang ni. So just pergi buat je, jangan takut kan.
Betul, cikgu.
That's all Iman. Thank you so much, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, and my last message, listen to your cikgu all the time, you know, listen to her. If you want to get in touch with me, you can check me on LinkedIn. So, you can message me there. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully one day I can meet all of you individually. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Salam.
Salam.
Okay, bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, students.